Good evening. Now you can see some credentials about me. And tonight I would like to take you on a journey to the world of science and the world of health. In every country of the world, people realize that pharmaceutical medicine did not bring solution to their health problems. We still suffer from heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and many other issues. It is easy to understand why. Because the economical basis of the pharmaceutical industry, which is a profit-oriented business, is rather maintaining and expanding diseases as a market for their drugs. So we cannot expect anything else. And in addition, a pharmaceutical monopoly on health, like any monopoly in any business area, is the biggest obstacle to innovation, to new solutions. And we need to realize that pharmaceutically oriented healthcare is rather an obstacle than solution to health. And now it's time that we look for alternatives. And in this aspect, natural health, science-based natural health, has to become a part of a viable and effective healthcare system. And today I will share with you some of very exciting information that comes from our research institute. Let me see. Yeah, this is our research institute in California, our research team, and you can see how we conduct our work. We are working in the area of natural health. It means we are researching the role of natural substances in various aspects of health. The basis of the new health solution is cellular medicine. Why do we think that cellular medicine forms the basis of modern and effective healthcare system? And here you can see several reasons for it. First of all, cellular medicine can correctly define the causes of diseases. And we know if we understand what causes a disease, of course it is easier to control this disease. The other thing, cellular medicine provides a correct definition of therapeutic targets for various health problems. And in this aspect, in a case of heart disease, it shifts therapeutic target from lowering elevated cholesterol levels in the blood to blood vessel integrity and function. And in case of cancer, instead of looking for other means to kill cancer cells, we are looking on the way how we can confine these abnormal cells into one place so we can prevent them from spreading in the body. And even more, cellular medicine does not think that one nutrient or some extract from forest or miracle component in a plant is the solution for health. No, we are rather looking at the combination of nutrients that work in synergy that can effectively address our health problems. And as an important factor, we see that health education, understanding how our body works, understanding that our body is made of cells that need specific natural components in order to work naturally, this information is the basis of health. if we understand what we need to eat, why we need to change lifestyle, what is important for our health, this knowledge will help us to stay healthy. So health education is an important factor for new modern healthcare system. So how cellular medicine explains the causes of heart disease, diabetes, osteoporosis of many other chronic conditions. Cellular medicine tells us that deficiency or insufficient intake of certain micronutrients such as vitamins, minerals, biologically active plant substances are too low intake of these important components with time can lead to suboptimal function of cells. If those deficiencies are not corrected, then cellular pathology develops that leads to sick organ and then disease spreads over entire body. So the definition what causes many chronic diseases is long-term deficiency of vitamins, minerals, and certain important micronutrients. Cellular medicine also offers us effective solutions to controlling heart disease. And in this aspect, we are challenging the old fortress of conventional medicine, which says that high cholesterol level in the blood is the cause of heart disease, cause of atherosclerosis that leads to heart attacks and strokes. However, cellular medicine explains that cholesterol is not the cause. Cholesterol is the consequence of heart disease. And here I show you why. The main cause of formation of plaques in the arteries and build-up of the deposits in blood vessels of the heart is dysfunction of these blood vessels. As a result of long-term deficiency of vitamins, and in this aspect, especially vitamin C, also vitamin B6, some amino acids, the walls of blood vessels lose integrity. They develop cracks and lesions because without these important substances, collagen, which is the cement of the blood vessel wall, is not properly formed. And therefore, such a deficient blood vessel wall requires biological repair. What the biological repair comes from? This condition sends the signal to the liver to start producing more lipoproteins. These are molecules which are rich in cholesterol, and they are perfect patching materials for the blood vessel walls, and they work more or less like a mortar that is patching the holes in the brick wall. And what happens as a result of that, of course, the cholesterol level in the blood increases and starts depositing in the blood vessel wall. If the vitamin deficiency is corrected quickly, then of course this process does not continue and atherosclerosis won't develop. However, if the vitamin deficiency continues for years, for decades, then this repair mechanism overshoots, leading to growing deposits and the risk of heart attacks and strokes. So what is the most effective solution to control heart disease? And the most effective solution is by controlling two aspects. One, maintaining healthy, elastic blood vessel wall, And the other one is controlling, optimizing cholesterol metabolism in the liver. And the vitamin C in synergy with other micronutrients is the factor that controls both processes, maintaining healthy vascular wall and optimizing cholesterol level. Current conventional medicine takes care only of these aspects. Our scientific and clinical studies confirm that micronutrients are effective both in prevention or reduction of the progression of coronary heart disease at different stages. We know that micronutrients can prevent the deposition of cholesterol in the blood vessel wall, these are early stages of atherosclerosis. And we need to remember that atherosclerosis develops for decades. And we know that very young children, even teenagers, already may have cholesterol deposits. So therefore, it's never too early to start preventing this problem. We also know that micronutrients are effective in controlling more advanced stages of atherosclerosis, such as they can limit the proliferation of smooth muscle cells that build the blood vessel walls, and these cells, excessive growth of these cells will lead to formation of plaques. And also at later stages where calcium already deposits in the vascular wall, and the most advanced stage which carries the risk of heart attacks. This is where plaque ruptures and blood clot forms inside of the blood vessel, which can prevent the blood flow from prevent the flow of the blood, and the problem develops. So at every stage, it is important that specific micronutrients are provided to the body so the body can effectively deal with growing problems. Many people may can say that, you know, this is wonderful, but I have a different situation, because the heart disease is genetic, it's in my genetic, and therefore this may not apply to me. So our researchers will also looking at this aspect when the heart disease is determined at the genetic level. And this is why we did some experiments on animals that have a lack of a specific gene called ApoE, which makes them susceptible to heart disease. These mice have a very high cholesterol level in the blood. But in addition to this genetic predisposition, what our researchers did, they also add another risk factor for heart disease, which is high blood pressure. So we were doing an experiment in which we used mice which had a genetic predisposition to heart disease and very high blood pressure. We we separated these animals into two groups. One group was taking normal diet, and the other group was taking a diet that was supplemented with the mixture of specific micronutrients. And after some time, we analyzed, what happens to the arteries of these animals. And you can see the results on this slide. I don't think that you need a lot of explanation, and because the results are obvious. When you look at the artery of the animals which were kept on normal diet, you can see lots of orange color, which indicates cholesterol deposits. And they were so thick at some areas you cannot even see the wall. So mice These mice kept on normal diet developed very large cholesterol deposits. But look at the artery that was isolated from the animal who had a diet supplemented with micronutrients. The blood vessels are almost clear. So just one factor, which is the micronutrient supplementation, could make such a big difference in the organism that was genetically predisposed to disease and had other risk factors. Even more, we measured blood cholesterol level in these animals. And you can see that the total cholesterol level was lower by almost 32% in animals that were taking supplements. LDL, which is bad cholesterol, was lower by 65%. This is, you see the graph illustrating that. And the ratio of so-called good cholesterol to bad cholesterol, which is HDL to LDL, was higher by almost 60%. So their lipid profile also improved. In addition, we could see that the arteries of animals that were kept on a normal diet developed many hemorrhages, blood clots. And here you can see the dark areas that indicate the presence of blood clots, while you can see that artery of the animal from micronutrient supplemented group is free. And forming of clots in the arteries is very big, forms very high risk of heart attacks. So what do these results mean? They mean that micronutrients have benefits in decreasing risk of heart disease even in the presence of multiple risk factors such as genetic background and other factors, in this case high blood pressure. You may ask, these are animal studies, but what about people? And here you can see the ultra-fast CT picture of the fragment of the heart of the patient who had coronary calcified deposits in one of the arteries. And the deposits are seen as a white spot inside of this white circle. And this is how his heart looked like before taking supplements. After 1 year of specific micronutrient supplementation, the deposits completely disappeared. Without drugs, without stents, without any procedure, just with micronutrient supplementation, micronutrients that could help to repair the defective blood vessel wall. This is not a miracle, this is science. Even more, in many studies that were clinical studies, these were small pilot studies, we could observe that micronutrient supplementation can help in lowering high blood cholesterol level, lowering high blood pressure, decreasing the severity and frequency of arrhythmia, which is irregular heartbeat, also improvement in heart failure, heart insufficiency, and also micronutrients were helpful in normalizing blood sugar levels in people who had diabetes. Natural health, natural health provides answers not only to heart disease, which is #1 cause of death in Romania and in many countries, but also to cancer, which for many of you sounds like impossible. For almost 70 years, we've been using chemotherapy, radiation, as the only weapon against cancer. And we have to admit, all these procedures failed. Cancer is still death verdict, and cancer is the second cause of death. The progress in the war against cancer has been very small. The scientific studies show that in the last 20 years, 5 years survival, not recovery from cancer, but 5 years survival improved by only 2%. This is not a progress. And this is time that we start looking for alternatives to cancer. And cellular medicine offers such alternatives. The direction of research in cancer has been defined by 1992, so it's almost 20 years ago, by Dr. Rath in his publication. And many years later, where we were able to start and do our own research, we made cancer as our first scientific project, and we didn't have to wait for long for good results. In 2002, we announced in the largest newspaper in the United States, the USA Today, that we witnessed a breakthrough in cancer research. So we just want to inform the patients, responsible scientists, that there is a new direction that gives us a hope and gives us a real opportunity to control this health problem. And we were very pleased that, a few years later, this was in 2009, the Journal of Clinical Oncology announced that currently there are about 100 studies, clinical studies with different natural components, both in prevention and also in therapy of cancer. So there is some progress. But now I want to tell you how we fight with cancer. We know that the death from cancer does not occur in most cases because of cancer developed in one organ. 9 out of 10 patients, cancer patients, die of metastasis, of the fact that the cancer spread all over the body, but not of the primary tumors. Therefore, we looked at the natural ways, how we can control invasion of cancer cells in the tissue and their spread to other organs in the body. So then we looked how the cells of our organs are built. And what we know, that every cell in our body is surrounded by network or a mesh of collagen and other proteins which form connective tissue. The name connective, it means that they connect something. They connect cells, they glue cells together. And cancer cells, if they want to grow, expand in the tissue and invade other organs, they need to break this network of collagen fibers, and they use specific enzymes to do that. So in our approach, we were looking which nutrients, natural components, can prevent this enzymatic activity and prevent damage of the connective tissue. And this is the group of nutrients that work together in the synergy, which we have shown that is effective in blocking cancer cells from spreading in the tissue and from invading other organs. The key nutrient in this mixture is vitamin C. Why? Because vitamin C, from one aspect, is able to inhibit this enzyme, so it acts like this blue structure that goes into a mouth of the enzyme and inhibits its activity. But also vitamin C is essential nutrients for production of this connective tissue, those strong fibers that surround the cells in our body. So it has its dual role. And also we need to remember that our body is not able to produce even one molecule of vitamin C. Everything comes from our diet, which, as we know, may be not ideal. So the next picture will show you how vitamin C itself is important in protecting, in preventing cancer cells from spreading in the tissue. And in this aspect, in this experiment, we used specific type of mice that we developed in our laboratory. This is a unique strain of mice because they cannot produce vitamin C like humans. So they rely on vitamin C in the diet. And what we did, we divided them into two groups. One group was taking vitamin C in the diet, and the other group was taking a diet that did not have vitamin C. And into all mice, we injected skin cells, cancer cells, melanoma, and then we looked how cancer develops in these two groups of animals. And especially we were interested how tumors look in the group of animals that was taking vitamin C in a diet and in the group that was taking diet depleted of vitamin C. And here you can see the results. This is the cross-section of a tumor from the mouse that had the diet supplemented with vitamin C. What is characteristic is this pink border that surrounds the interior of the tumor. This dark area represents inside of the tumor, and this is the border. And what you can see that there is a very thick pink layer. And this pink layer is made of collagen, of connective tissue, which prevents cancer cells from inside of the tumor spreading in the tissue. The tumor that was isolated from a mouse that did not have vitamin C in the diet looks completely different. And here you can see there is no pink border, and cancer cells are easily spreading all over the tissue. And as a fact, these animals also had many metastases. So this result illustrates to you how important is vitamin C itself in controlling cancer. But what we have studied and what we documented in more than 70 scientific publications in the studies conducted on more than 40 different types of human cancers is that this nutrients mixture that I presented to you earlier is able not only inhibit tumor growth, not only inhibit metastasis, which are of course the key aspect of cancer, but also it can decrease the formation of blood vessels that feed tumors, and this is why tumors cannot grow. And also it is able to act as a natural chemotherapy compound because it can trigger death of cancer cells through natural mechanism, through triggering certain genes that cause cells to die. This is the process called apoptosis. And in addition can also control a very important process in cancer, which is inflammation. Every cancer, inflammation accompanies every cancer, and also chronic inflammation can be a causing factor for developing cancer. Here I would like to show you how this nutrients mixture, nutrient synergy, compares to a single compound in their anti-cancer activities. And in this case, we conducted a study on breast cancer, and this was a study done in rats. So at the moment where the rats developed tumors that we could identify and measure, we divided them into three groups. One group was kept on control diet, and we didn't change anything in their treatment. The second group got additional green tea extract, which is known as an anti-cancer agent. And the third group was kept on the diet supplemented with a mixture of nutrients. As you can see, that nutrient synergy was more effective than green tea in inhibiting growth progression of those breast tumors. And in addition, it had other beneficial effects. What we could see that on the normal diet, the rats developed about 4 tumors per animal. In case of green tea, the number was 50% lower, but with synergy, we observed only 1 tumor per rat. Also, when it comes to the number of animals that did not develop any tumors, we could see that more than half of rats that were kept on synergy, nutrient synergy diet did not develop any tumors, while the rats on control diet, all of them developed tumors. And what was another important factor, another important factor was that all tumors that developed in animals that were kept on control diet were advanced tumors, as classified as grade 3 carcinoma, while none of the tumors that developed in nutrient synergy supplemented group was advanced cancer. So you can see the benefits of synergy of micronutrients versus single individual components, and of course non-treatment at all. Does this apply to people? Here I will show you just one of many examples of patients who took advantage of this knowledge. And here you can see the example of brain tumor, glioma, which developed in this patient, and after about 1 year of supplementation, this area of the brain is free of cancer. And this person is still alive and free of cancer for the last 9 years. We also have the cases of lung tumor, and the patient is free of cancer for the last 10 years, even more than this patient. And patients with more advanced cancers like metastasizing lymphoma, and breast tumors and colon cancer. So I'm sure that many of you, seeing these results, are thinking about your mothers, fathers, perhaps children. If they knew about this progress, if they knew about this research, don't you think that they would have benefited from it? Now another topic of our research, and that affects every one of us, is the effects of micronutrients on the function of our immune system. We all know, because it's common knowledge, that micronutrients are essential for optimum function of our immune system, for resistance to infection, because they help in proper optimum synthesis of white blood cells, antibodies, and other factors involved in the immunity. But not everybody knows that micronutrients can control the infective agent, whether this is bacteria or a virus. And in this case, we were studying the effects of micronutrients on development and progression of flu virus in the body. And what we know is that micronutrients can act on main stages of infection. So they can prevent the virus from infecting the cell. They are also effective in inhibiting multiplication of the virus inside the cell after infection has occurred. And also micronutrients are important in preventing viruses from spreading in the body or in the tissue because they can affect enzymes that which dissolve this tissue and facilitate spread of viruses in the body in a similar way that cancer cell is spreading. And on the next few slides, I will show you scientific evidence supporting each of this, what I just said now. So here on this slide, you can see how nutrient synergy can inhibit the penetration of viruses inside the cell. This is the human flu virus, H1N1 type. And the synergy of micronutrient was more effective than vitamin C alone. This slide illustrates that when cells are already infected with the virus, micronutrients can help as well, because they can inhibit the multiplication of the virus inside the cell. The more micronutrients, the smaller growth of viruses. And on this slide, you can see that micronutrients can also inhibit spread of viruses in the body because they can inhibit different types of enzymes that are needed for viruses to invade other cells and spread in the tissue. So what do these results mean? That micronutrients can control human flu viruses by affecting key stages of infection at the same time, and therefore have a very powerful effect on the virus because they can prevent infection of the cell, they can prevent multiplication of the virus, they can also prevent viruses from spreading in the tissue. We've been today, because of a time constraint, I cannot share with you all the results of our research, but here just some other areas of immunity that we were working on. Our studies showed that in case of bird flu, micronutrients working in synergy are able to suppress viral replication and also prevent tissue damages in infected birds. The study were done on birds, and we used 10,000 birds in the study, so the results are meaningful. Also, we did a study in patients with AIDS, patients who were positive for HIV virus. And the results showed that in about 900 patients, micronutrients intake reduced all symptoms that define AIDS as a disease and other accompanying symptoms. Also, we did a clinical study in tuberculosis in 120 patients, and the results were also positive. These patients were taking micronutrients in addition to conventional treatment. So it wasn't instead of, but in addition to. But they recovered, those who were taking vitamins, they recovered much faster, and the bacteria was completely eliminated from the system. And also in ulcerative colitis, which is inflammation of the intestines, these were studies that were done in animals, and we can show that micronutrients help in protecting intestinal lining and other organs, decreasing inflammation and decreasing many symptoms that accompany these problems. All information about these and other studies you can find on our website, where you can have an access to original publications of our research. We are presenting them on many scientific meetings. We get invitations to speak at the medical and scientific conferences. So this information is known, this information is available. But unfortunately, this information does not reach general public. And this is why we are here. Because we need to realize that in order to protect our health, we need to be knowledgeable. This is the old rule that if you want to control people, you take from them knowledge. You take away knowledge from them. And this is why for many decades, people were deliberately kept illiterate about health, about how their body functions, how their cell functions, what they need for optimum health, especially natural health. And this is why World Health Alphabetization Campaign, lectures and materials that we are making available to every person are important in liberating our health from dependency on drugs and other procedures that are not helping us. We need to know that micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, some bioactive plant components are essential for our health and essential for life. And this is not revolutionary knowledge. This knowledge about vitamins and the role of vitamins for health has been awarded at least 9 Nobel Prizes. So it has been recognized. You can find this knowledge in the biochemistry manuals, textbooks of biology and physiology. Unfortunately, this information does not reach textbooks of medicine. Doctors are taught of pharmacology, not nutrition, and especially knowledge of micronutrients. But this knowledge is important and it's available. You need to take advantage of it. How this knowledge will help you to break this vicious circle of business with disease, business that thrives on your diseases or your health problems. How does it start? The pharmaceutical investment business that is interested in selling drugs, not vitamins, influences politicians and other organizations to impose law that determines very low intake levels of vitamins. People are rather scared of taking vitamins because they read that vitamins kill. Vitamins are not healthy for you. There is nothing further than the truth. But what does it cost? That then, with the low intakes of vitamins and micronutrients, the cells of your body that builds your body dysfunction. What will happen next? Chronic diseases develop. Heart disease, high blood pressure, osteoporosis, diabetes, and many other. Is it a problem? It's not a problem for the industry, because for every of these diseases, they offer drugs. The drugs that do not eliminate this disease, they do not eradicate this disease, then they help to control it. But the disease continues, and you take these drugs for your entire life. And what, as a next step, then, of course, then they bring other, I'm sorry. Okay, then there is another, I'm sorry, I don't have my eyeglasses, so the another step is to ban the health information in relation to vitamins. So you cannot tell that vitamins will help you to fight heart disease. No, this is forbidden. So this is how this industry controls your health. And the other aspect is discrediting, public discrediting of vitamins. This is when you read in the newspaper or hear on the radio that vitamins are dangerous. No, there is nothing worse from the truth. And then those people who are bringing this knowledge to you, even if this has a scientific support, then they are becoming the targets of attacks from the special interest of pharmaceutical industry and other related groups. And this is how the vicious circle closes. So the only way to prevent this business with disease from prevent activity of this business with disease and the encroachment on your health is to know that and to have this knowledge available to you and also sharing this knowledge with others. And with this, I would like to thank you for your attention. Thank you.